Well, like I said, I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. I did resign from my job. Hey guys, it's been a while since we've spoken. I didn't disappear. I didn't escape. I didn't end the channel. I was on a work trip in Las Vegas, Nevada, which was an interesting trip. The hotel that I was staying at had a view of this large dystopian ball. It's called the Sphere. It's actually kind of cool to look at. Digital projections displayed on this gigantic ball. Regardless, I was on a trip for a while. It was a long business trip. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the strip itself, I was able to rent a car and get out of the strip and see some of the local wildlife, including things like the Hoover Dam, which I would highly recommend if you ever have to go to Vegas for work, like I do. Rent yourself a car and go see some of the actual local Mojave wilderness. It's really cool. You guys might be surprised at how cold it is, how chilly. Yes, it's the desert, but I'd say it's in the 30s right now, so I've got a coat on. And as alien as this landscape is to me, you couldn't get any more different than the very wet, the very water-filled Appalachian Basin that I live in, the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. This is the exact opposite. It's alien, but it's beautiful. I spent a few years in my 20s living in Arizona, and this reminds me of that. It's very dry. My throat is parchy, but it's gorgeous. It's a whole different planet than where we live, where we have our homestead. So it's pretty cool to see. And it's interesting. I mean, you can hear the construction vehicles in the background. People are building out here. It's nothing like Vegas, obviously, but people are still building stuff out here, which is kind of cool to see. And a little disappointing too. I don't blame them. It's a really beautiful area, but I don't want to say it mars the landscape, but it's definitely not something you'd expect when you come out to the surface of Mars like this to see construction vehicles.
Your mobile electronic boarding passes will not be accepted when boarding, so please make your way to gate B19 to receive your printed boarding card and to have your passport verified. Thank you.
I'm not going to make a big deal out of this, but if you followed the channel and you know our story, a couple of videos ago, I told you about the ultimatum that I was given about keeping my job. Well, like I said, I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. I did resign from my job. It's not effective immediately. I still have a few weeks of work. It's an amicable split. But it's been the culmination of, geez, I've been at that job now for close to 2 years. I took on the work back in March of 2022, and now we're closing in on 2024, and it's wrapping up. So suffice it to say, the chapter is changing and things are going to look different. I don't want to get into a gigantic walkthrough of how that is affecting us and what that's going to mean. Those are all bits and pieces that maybe we'll talk through when we get to them. But in the meantime, right now it's just about getting ready for a new year on the homestead, because I'm staying here on the homestead. It feels like starting from scratch. Let's put it that way. There's a lot to take on, a lot to do, a lot of projects that have frankly just kind of sat neglected for the past 2 years. Things that I'll be able to tackle again. There are a lot of unknowns, but I did want to check in with you guys. I know one of the unfortunate side aspects of having a very busy full-time job, 60 plus hours a week, was I didn't get as much time to film as I used to before I started, which included things like travel. I was gone a lot. So I did want to let you know, like, I didn't disappear, but a big, hairy thing happened. And yeah, I resigned my job. It's good. It's an amicable split. I still have some time left there. It's not completely ended just yet, but it's done. And in the meantime, I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm optimistic about where things are going. And those are the types of things that I'll discuss in pieces and bits and pieces as we move forward. But I did want to let you guys know that we're all still alive. We're still here. We had an amazing Thanksgiving. And I did travel a lot. I just got back. But I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be working on the homestead again. It does my soul so much good. So what's in store for 2024? Well, I think one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to start incubating our own poultry, our own turkeys and our own chickens. Chickens will be easier, but I'd like to experiment with turkeys this year too. So we're going to get an incubator, and I'd like to have our first batch of homegrown chicks born on the Yosted sometime in early spring. Also really want more food livestock, whether that's meat chickens, turkeys, or more pigs. That's something we're gonna have to talk about. One other thing that we're gonna do is try and grow most, if not all, of our veggies for the garden this year. Grow them from seed this year. That's exciting because buying starts is not cheap. I'm also gonna do a little bit of work on my tractor. One of the hydraulic lines on the front loader here has been leaking enough to the point where it's like squirting out. So that line needs to get changed. So I need to dig up the manual for this thing, find the part number, call up New Holland to see if they have the part still around, and hopefully change the thing out without too much of a trouble, because that's another thing I'd like to start doing in 2024 is doing a lot more work with Old Blue here, knocking over old sections of forest that we don't want anymore, getting that shed that's been knocked over in the backwoods, getting that thing flattened and loaded up onto a dumpster so we can actually clear that area out. I think that's good silvopasture potentially for pigs, that whole area. So Old Blue can help with that, but we need to get Old Blue in commission. But anyways, like I said, I just wanted to keep you guys updated as to where we were. We're okay. A lot of things came into focus for us since Henry was born. But a lot of things became, well, things really came into focus for us in these past few months when our choices became very stark. And we chose this lifestyle. We're here on the homestead. There are other directions we could have gone, but we're not doing them. We're right here. So wanted to update you guys. We're okay. We were also sick. Did I mention that earlier? We got the dreaded sea bug, but I think we're over it now. And yeah, here's to 2024. Here's to a brand new chapter in the Yosted, one that we're really, really excited about, one where we'll be doing more on our own, starting stuff from seed, incubating our own poultry, things like that. So thank you guys for being our subscribers. We can't extend our appreciation to you enough. It's been a bumpy ride, but we're still here, and we're really, really excited about this coming year. So until we see you again next time, stay excited and stay slowly.